Hi, guys. Welcome back to Lifestyle 101, the Open Door Diaries. I'm your host, Silver Luna, your local internet vixen. And this is my husband, my stag, Jesus.
Hello.
Today we're going to be talking about the fun subject of discretion. If I'm honest with you, it's not really something that I care too much about because I personally am an open book, as you can see with the name of the podcast, The Open Door Diaries. I have an open door policy for the most part, but I do respect others and their wishes to remain discreet. And whenever I wish to remain discreet, I also expect that others respect that as well.
Yeah.
So, Jesus, what do you find is the most important aspect of discretion in the lifestyle?
Well, that's trust, right? I feel like we all go into this environment with the trust that everybody's there with the same mind, same mind, and I feel like they wouldn't let that be done to them if somebody doesn't want to discover it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know, discretion, I think it will be very important if you desire it, which, we do desire a little bit of discretion.
Mm-hmm.
Not much, but a little bit. Very much like if we're in a space where it's lifestyle oriented, we usually not really discretion, but if we're in the supermarket, you know what I mean? And we are with a friend, not even in the supermarket. It doesn't matter if you approach us in the supermarket with that stuff. But if we're outside of the outing with a friend or with family or something like that, you don't know who's next to us. It's not always a date. We have friends that are not in the lifestyle at all.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we are open to them, they might not, we might have not told them yet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I was actually going to ask if you could give some examples to our listeners that are new into the lifestyle and don't understand what we're referring to whenever we say discretion, when we talk about being discreet with new people. What would you give as like the core 101 advice to the newbies?
Core 101, no pictures unless you ask for. Is that what you're talking about? Kind of like
that's a
discretion. Like I will say, no pictures unless you specifically ask. No, that's really the major one. People will let you know right away. Like usually with Facebooks and stuff like that, people let you know right away. But people are very, very aware. Like, because if you come into a club or something, there's not that much discretion. It's really the after, right?
Yeah.
And then every orientation tells you the same thing. Hey, this you never know who works here. Like quiet. Whatever happens here, unless otherwise told by the people. Don't approach me in public.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. That would be my big 101s. Don't tag anybody in any photos or anything on social media unless you have the express consent of the other person to do so. And generally, if you're at an LS event, you don't talk about it to others. You just make sure that you have their express consent before making any of those comments. So,
yeah. You might see somebody you know. You know what I mean? It might be the
true.
busher. It might be the nurse.
So how do you manage those scenarios? What do you do to navigate those situations?
Well, have we ever been? We've never been in a situation with that, but never been in a situation where we knew somebody and then we had to be careful on the outside. Did we? Have we?
I don't know that I've ever necessarily been in a situation where I've had to act like I didn't know them at a supermarket. I've always, when I've made eye contact with somebody that I've known from a lifestyle event of some sort, they'll still say hi to me in public, but you don't say that to them. You don't walk up to them and say, "Hey,
kiss it in the mouth." I don't know.
I saw you at the club last weekend. Nice to see you again. Oh, shouldn't have said that. Or whenever you're talking to a friend and they're like, "Oh, I know what so-and-so did last weekend. Oh, do you? Yeah. Oh, you saw them at the club? Oh." And then now, because you've had a conversation with a mutual friend, you've accidentally outed your friend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We haven't had a situation where we know somebody on the outside. They don't intermingle. This when we used to be in Oklahoma now, and Jacksonville is a little different. All our friends are friends. But it's so big of a city. We haven't really... Everybody that we have met is so completely different from everybody.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That nobody knows each other. They're not interlinked. Their lives don't interlink at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the lifestyle is a smaller community, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So, how do people generally keep their discretion? People that you've seen in the past with using social media? Like for me, I know one big way is having an alternate profile. So, having like an LS profile and your main profile, and then you keep your LS friends separate. And the only danger that I've found with that is that people tend to put LS in the name.
All right, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
This is something that we talk about all the time. Don't put a less on your name. Like, just don't do it. Listen, some of us just want to have our Facebook. We are completely open to our friend and family. I know and that we are, and it makes it a little more complicated to keep your privacy.
Mm-hmm.
Your privacy, not my privacy. Your privacy. Whenever you put blah 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 ls, and then you add me, and then my friend is asking who it is, or it might be somebody you know. I know a lot of people. I meet a lot of people, so I don't ever know what their degrees of whatever. But another thing that is it turns the page into a LS page. Sometimes some posts are all LS, so it makes her friends. So I feel like it does, and I don't think anybody has told me differently. But my friends tend to comment a little less whenever there's a bunch of LS stuff
Mm-hmm.
related comments already on there. My friends tend to comment less.
Yeah.
At that point because they feel like it's not for them, even though it's for everybody. It's just it's outing you when you put LS.
Ultimately, yeah, it outs all parties because whenever somebody with the LS profile comments on your personal private profile with the LS, then it outs you, and then whenever like you're commenting on their profile, then it outs them.
Yeah, but if it works for you, it works for you. Maybe we're just making goals where they're not. But at least that's where well, not even that because it happened to us.
Yeah,
so there's no goals here.
Well, we've definitely seen that as a common complaint in lifestyle groups too, because it's really frustrating to have a bunch of LS accounts like your post whenever you're trying to keep it hidden.
Yeah. So I mean, make your secret account. Just don't put a less on it.
But just make it a joint name account or whatever, like a discrete name.
Yeah.
Something that's not LS at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Like Dragon
or pineapple.
69.
Everybody knows what pineapple means.
Unless it's upside down. We also have make a lot of like at least 2 friends that are in love with pineapples and they had nothing to do with pineapple lifestyle.
That's true, and that was pretty surprising whenever we went to their house.
Right? Like, wait a minute, are there pineapple? Are there no pineapple?
Pineapple decor in every single room. We're like,
wait a minute,
are they lying to us?
Right? No, people just like pineapples.
That's true. And then we had another friend that was funny whenever we went to their party, and he came out one morning late after the party, and he was like, "Who turned all of the pineapples in the bathroom upside down?"
Oh my god, yes.
That's so funny.
Also, like whenever we're at and everybody flip all the
that's
pineapples.
What I'm talking about.
Oh, that's what you're talking about? Yeah, no, but at the end they did all of them around the house, but then like in the middle.
I forgot about that.
Remember in the middle there's the one, oh man, we might be adding a secret right now, but I will. In the middle there's a pineapple that you forget to twist upside down, so that's always one people forget. In the middle of the table. Now you're gonna have to find a new one.
I just got their name out.
Oh shoot, yeah, you're right.
It's a whole episode about discretion. Can't
get
their name in it. But I can leave the story. I'm just going to mute that section.
Yeah. You never know who I'm talking about.
So what kind of precautions should people take when using apps like SDC, SLS, or FetLife, or like any of those apps?
Yeah. Like discretion on those apps? Like, what do you mean?
So I guess let me rephrase. How do you see people utilize discretion across the different apps? Like, so for me as an ex creator, knowing that like there's a lot of like creators that are faceless, so in order to remain discreet, they'll like, cut off the top of their head and they'll only post photos from down. So like that's one way. And I see that a lot in the LS too. Whenever there's couples that want to remain discreet, they'll take pictures and make sure that their heads are not included in the picture. And then they'll wait to send you a face photo until after you become friends with them or you've had a conversation, and then they ask to exchange face photos.
Yeah.
So like what other ways do you see other people use a form of discretion on social media, just as like general helpful tips for those trying to get involved.
Well, I mean, like if you want tips to be discreet, what works? Is that what you're asking for?
Yes.
Okay, so if you want the man, it's just that we're not very discreet, so like, that's kind of hard to come up with something for us. But when the majority of the things I see is just an account, and you said like that, like just blur out your face or blur out any tattoos or any kind of marks that you don't want. To be honest, best pictures you can put is people like pictures of you clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Put your it doesn't have to look ugly or weird. You can just like blur your background too. There's a lot of AI tools in your phones that you can just do to take out your face or to make something else happen. And
Yeah. So.
I think it's and also keeping your accounts, what is it called? Keeping your contacts off of whenever you create a new account. Making sure that nothing gets tied up to your accounts. Maybe blocking that account from your personal page that way it doesn't appear as a friend of friends.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want that to happen. But I mean, to be honest, I think for the most part, somebody's gonna see it, somebody's gonna find it. It's the internet, and Facebook does want to connect everybody with everybody.
Yeah.
So they want people around you to find your account
Yeah.
because that's what Facebook does.
Yeah, and one thing to be aware of is that if you are going to take a picture with somebody at a club, then there is the potential that they might post it if they're not being conscientious of your privacy. But also, if you don't want them to post it, make sure to say something to them because, like, I know there's been plenty of times that I've taken a picture in front of the picture wall, and then I'll be like, "Ooh, kind of wish I wouldn't have done that. Kind of hope they don't post that because I don't really want to post that I'm here."
That's true. I mean, even when it's consensual, like take the picture on there, that doesn't mean post it right away. I mean, a lot of people are inebriated. A lot of people are just not even that, just also riding the high of like just being in the club.
mhm.
Some people like that's a very big high for them. Like they're very excited, they're taking pictures, and if it's a new person, just know that you might be something that you don't want the picture to actually go out. You can tell the person that took it to not post it,
Mhm.
and I think it's graceful for people not to post without asking as well.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, if you have already like talked to you, it's a friend of yours, and you already know that they're gonna post you. That's completely different, but that's not here or there. That's a different kind of friendship.
Yeah.
That's something you will know if you have consent or not. But probably, yeah, probably before posting something, consent is the number one thing. That way, nobody is outed by mistake.
Mhm.
And it's really that. Like nobody wants to
Mhm.
out you if you don't want to be outed. Now, just play by the
Mhm.
gay rules.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Now, the other thing I want to touch on is on the flip side. So you've gotten their consent to post into these groups, but the flip side of discretion is never sharing outside of those groups. And this is going to be generally a rule that you'll find across entering any Facebook group, any Discord group, any Telegram chat, any FetLife page, any page in general. If you screenshot and share those photos, if you distribute them without somebody's permission, you're immediately breaking the
oh
rule
yeah,
of consent, the rule of discretion, the rule of trust, and you'll probably be kicked out of each of those, rightfully so.
yeah, yeah, for sure. People have been
Um,
kicked out. We've seen people get kicked out for screenshotting. I mean, even a conversation that you have in private with somebody, like it's weird if you screenshot it. It's just weird unless they are saying that you're a murderer, and then on the message saying like, "Haha, I'm gonna lie to everybody that you're a murderer." That's completely fine. I get that part. But if somebody's having a private conversation with you, hey, I didn't like the way you talked to me. I didn't like blah blah blah, or even a sensual conversation. Whatever happened, don't screenshot it. That's just weird. It's weird to screenshot posts, even if it's just for you. No, like, you can just go back. That's not just for you kind of deal. That's just weird. Stop screenshot. If you do that, stop doing it. I am judging you. I love you, but I am judging you.
Especially like lifestyle conversations. I am definitely guilty of having screenshotted private conversations and posting it whenever somebody was hateful to me or was threatening to me, but in the event of lifestyle conversations, especially, those should be treated like I mean, like a nude, basically. Like, you want to make sure you're not putting that private conversation out for other people to read that has nothing to do with them, unless you've gotten the consent from the other party. And usually, whenever people are posting screenshots, you don't have consent from the other party.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever happens in the group stays in the group, and it gets solved in the group. It's a community thing.
Yeah.
There's no needs to be any outsiders being brought into a community thing. The community will deal with it itself, and sometimes you ended up being the person kicked out, and sometimes you're the person in the right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get kicked out, that's a lesson. You might be getting invited again, but give it some years and think about what you're doing. If you get kicked out by a community, that means something happens, and people are very forgetful here.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's actually a good point. Like, it's a pretty strong community. People talk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people are discreet, but whenever people are involved in the same communities and the same circles and they start to learn who other people are, they know, they have conversations with each other. And so, like, just be mindful that you don't want to, like, accidentally give that information out to somebody who wasn't a part of that community. And then it gets outed for more than just the person that you even intended to out.
You're outing yourself too.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me how partners in the lifestyle discuss and agree on discretion levels that work for both of them.
Well, that'll be communication, right? I talk about like what you want and what do I want. I mean, like really going into depth with stuff. Like I feel like sometimes like you think you talk about something, but you didn't like really go into depth. Like if I were to take a picture and it went to go out, what would have happened? And go over that story with yourself and with your spouse and figure out where then the point of discretion is at, right? So I mean, I feel like communication is always the number one on the lifestyle, but and that's no different on this. Like go through your stories, go through why you feel uncomfortable, why you don't feel comfortable doing that, and sometimes you will disagree.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like in this case for us, we probably go with the person that has the least amount of thin discretion. We wouldn't go for like if you're like, oh my god, like I'm gonna be like completely open with like I want to take videos every day about this, or versus like, hey, like let's go ahead and chill and just do it on these communities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It definitely comes down to the amount of comfort that the couple is willing to accept. Like I feel like the reason why our discretion was so limited is because of like my sudden online presence. I decided to start posting pictures all the time. Once I started posting pictures, I was like, oh man, it's so much more difficult to keep life separated into two separate parts, lifestyle and non-lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was, but I mean, and I follow suit because I've never been one to chat away either. And I feel like I told you that plenty of times that I wasn't like gonna say no to sharing our stories or doing
Yeah.
whatever too. Like I mean, I definitely voiced it out. Like I just don't like living 3 different lives, 4 different lives, and I was already living 3 different lives or 2 different lives.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone 4 now. Hell no.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of work.
I'm a different as right. Like I have my work life, and I got my personal life. Then I got my relationship life. Because I mean, when I went into a relationship, like I still had to be me, and I still have a lot of me to work on, and then I also at the same time to work on the relationship, which felt like 3 different people.
What would you say to someone that is considering the lifestyle but they're hesitant due to discretion concerns?
I mean, my motto always, what would I say is well, that is for us, like the kind of people that we are. But I don't know. My motto is if they're there, that means they were there too. You know what I mean? If somebody find it, that means they wanted to find it. If they get offended, that why were they looking there to be input? So they were looking to get offended. I don't know. I can't live my life over somebody else's train of thought that could maybe happen. Like I mean, I feel like to me, I'm living my life in my head at that point. But that's why I don't consider discretion. Like, cause I mean, if they're gonna find out, they're gonna find out. even if you have a lifestyle account or not, you still look like you on your body. I can still tell who you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you see, I mean, this has happened on the app before, where whenever we first started on Tulsa, on Trifan, I was going through the app, and then I was like, I know who that is, exactly who that is, because I've seen that picture on Facebook. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I know exactly who that is. They're going by a different name and a different thing, but I knew exactly who they were. Discretion can only take you so far. Especially, so at that point is to me it was more like, I mean, if somebody's gonna call me out on it, call me out on it, but you're gonna have to face me and tell me you call me out on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's no secret, like, oh, maybe that's him, like, oh, I can get you, like they're not gonna get me.
Yeah, I do. I agree with you to an extent. There are valid reasons to need to be absolutely discreet. There are definitely professions that can get you disqualified, disbarred, you can get your license revoked. It's crazy. Like there's a lot of people that can't talk about their relationship status because then it could give a certain perception and they will lose their career for it, which is why it's so important to always always respect people's wishes. Whenever they tell you not to tag them in something or not to take pictures with them in it or not to talk about them being in a lifestyle, take it very seriously because it could mean their career.
Yes.
It could mean their livelihood. It could mean their friends, their family, their religion, their church, all kinds of things,
Yeah.
their children. I mean, it really is, like you said, like the LGBTQ community, the same kind of restrictions that they've had for forever. You still get the same kind of stigma for the non-monogamous community.
Yeah. I mean, like, not as somebody's lynching them, but but I mean, it's pretty much exactly the same thing, the same repercussions, really. Like, I mean, if you're outed as gay, you could lose your job. People don't see you the same way anymore. Don't respect you. I mean, and a lot of us in this environment are very kink oriented too. Meaning, like, we like the hot wifing scenario, right? Like, that can be, if for somebody that is not strong and is not in a safe space, bullying from other people can get to that. You know what I mean? Like I mean, you're saving the space, but then the outside world doesn't see it as that. They see you as less. And I mean, I've been brown in America for a long time, so not that everybody has seen me as less, but I've been seen as less before, and you had to get a thick skin for that.
Yeah.
So if you don't have it, I understand the discretion sometimes too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just generally have to have a thick skin and lifestyle too, especially for the guys.
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
mean, especially for guys and the couples, like because it's so difficult sometimes for the couples to match on both sides.
Oh yeah. I mean, the
Like
lifestyle is a ego killer.
it is.
For guys, not
It
for you.
is.
You're a very beautiful woman. Life is easy for you.
Well,
I throw petals in front of you.
whatever. Well, what final piece of advice would you give to somebody wanting to get started
um,
and that are also worried about maintaining privacy and their lives and the lifestyle in the digital age?
in the digital age, keep it simple. Keep it to one app. You don't have to do it on Facebook. You can always keep it separate. That's us. We just like to be in every single little thing. Keep it separate. You can go through to Reddit, look up which app or which thing is stronger in your area. In Florida, the most strong, in Jacksonville is
Resource
Florida is SDC.
website.
Uh,
The website.
yeah, the website is sdc.com. I will suggest if you're in Oklahoma right now, yeah, on the border.
Yeah. I do like your idea about using Reddit if you're trying to maintain privacy, because that's one of the most anonymous sites I feel like you could start with. I
Yeah,
like
but I mean,
SDC because it has the validation, so you can confirm that they're real, and you can have private locked folders of your photos with your face included and your nudes.
that's true. That way you can make it easy for
Mm-hmm.
everybody. There, if you like the couple, you can just send them the password of your thingy, of your album, with your face pic if you want to do face reveals like that.
Yeah, so I'd say those are probably the two best places to start when it comes to remaining discreet, but trying to dip your feet in the sand.
Yes, there's also Discord. Swinger Society has a really good Discord.
Yeah, Swinger Society does have a really big Discord. It's a lot,
Yeah.
but it's a good one. I'll also be making it an episode dedicated directly to resources that'll have all of them listed out into the YouTube description so that they have easy access.
So you can find them.
Yes.
Like, what is the book called? Waldo?
Yes, exactly.
Resources are like Waldo.
Yes, they can be in the lifestyle. Resources can be hard to find. So, because people are so discreet.
Nice.
People are so discreet. And they don't want to be found a lot of the time. So they'll look for things that are like podcasts that they won't show up in somebody's browsing history, or books that, like, you know, won't be seen by other people. They're like audiobooks, not laying around. Like, people don't want their photos and pictures sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I don't want people to find the lifestyle either, because then what if a cousin comes over? Like, damn it, I don't want to deal with that.
That's true. There's some people. Yeah.
So this is my group. Wait until I leave town.
All right, well, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe at Silver Luna's Vault. I'm on both YouTube and on Spotify, Lifestyle 101, Open Door Diaries. And until next time.